smell that? You smell that?
I think are we smelling the same thing?
What do you smell?
Something new, something fresh.
I'm thinking I caught a whiff of Up Dog.
What's up, dog?
I don't know. What's up with you?
I'm not gonna lie on my life. I'm so mad we did that bit. I'm so mad we did that bit. I'm
I
so
thought it
mad
was
we did
funny.
that
I thought it was good.
I let you lead me astray. Like I knew where the bit was going, but I'm like, all right, I'm gonna trust him on this. I'm gonna trust him
Hey,
on this.
Up
Last time I
Dog,
did
what's
that.
up?
Last time I did this shit.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's the AWR Recording Podcast. We are back with our NFL Week 18 predictions, our Week 17 overreactions. Thank y'all so much for following us into this new year. Happy New Year to all of the viewers, everyone who supports the channel. We really appreciate it. And if you really love and support us and want to see us have a great 2025, the biggest thing y'all can do for us is like this video, subscribe, and tell a friend about our recording, especially if they're into the NFL, because we're getting into the playoffs. And I'm thinking these next couple of weeks, we're going to have some real good conversations on this pod. So, yeah, make sure y'all are telling y'all's friends to tune in. And I'm ready to get into it, because we got a lot of football to talk about, considering that we missed last week. And
Yeah, the last 2 weeks we missed. And I think the perfect place to start is with our Week 17 NFL overreactions. 1 week left to go in this NFL season, and I want to start with a team that I've been waiting to hate on for a year. Right? They
all right,
kicked
let's hear it.
my former team's ass for the past 3-4 years, but I honestly believe that the San Francisco 49ers have been the biggest disappointment of the season. Because let's be honest, the last 3 or 4 years, the San Francisco 49ers have been one of the premier teams, not only in the NFL, but in the NFC, right? And in a world where it's fun to hate on the Dallas Cowboys, they have been worse than the Dallas Cowboys this year. No debate in my mind about it, right? And they've gone on a longer Super Bowl drought of winning one than my former team. And I don't understand why there isn't enough energy from them. They've been bad this year. Yes, they've had injuries. They've had a lot of injuries. But so have teams like Dallas. So it seems like Kansas City,
Detroit.
and they've been bad. They've been really, really bad. And I don't see enough hate in the air. I think we should spread more hate towards San Francisco.
Hey, I am not a fan of the 49ers either. And maybe it's just because of our past traumas involving them. So
For
it's
sure.
it's just good to feel that that comeuppance for
Yeah.
them. So personally, I'm not mad at it, E. I do think they've been really disappointing. And when I'm looking at the teams at the bottom of the standings, a lot of them are teams that I kind of expected to be near the bottom of the standings. But then you see San Francisco and you're like, what the hell happened to them? Why do they have 6 wins on the season? They're supposed to be, like you said, one of the best teams coming into the season, Super Bowl contender. And that just wasn't the case. Injuries definitely derailed their season, but it was a lot more beyond that. It's just not winning football games, like you said.
Can I do a little side note, right? Quick, while we talk
Yeah.
about the Niners. Do you think they pay Purdy?
Dude, I have no idea what's going to happen in this free agency period, because I don't know if they're going to pay him. The way Sam Darnold's playing, they might go out and pay Sam Darnold, because the Vikings still have JJ McCarthy, or maybe the 49ers go trade for JJ McCarthy. There's so much that could happen this offseason. I'm going to be very interested. We haven't even talked about Kirk Cousins, because I'm pretty sure he's on his way out of Atlanta. If he wants to continue playing, there might be a team that will be looking for his services, and Kyle Shanahan loves Kirk Cousins.
That's not a bad play. I think it depends how much money he's gonna want. My thing with Purdy is, who is realistically gonna pay Purdy outside of San Francisco? That's the one question. Because for him to get his $50 million, he has to have another team willing to give up that kind of money to put San Francisco in that position. Because like you said, Kirk Cousins, he's gonna be making a shit ton of money anyways, because it's guaranteed. But at the same time, he's probably out of Atlanta. Sam Darnold we don't know, because at one point I feel like he's kind of playing himself out of the backup salary range that a lot of people thought,
Yes.
and he might be making franchise quarterback money. Do I think Sam Darnold's gonna make 40, 50 M's or like 50, 60 M's? No. I can see him making 40. I can see him making 35, 36 M's. Who knows about a right team? Same thing with Purdy. I think Purdy and him are definitely in the same class. I think Darnold's a little better than Purdy. But then again, that might just be Kevin O'Connell and how he's running Minnesota. Same thing
Yeah,
with
for
Purdy. It
me,
might be the Shanahan tax with Purdy.
for sure. And I mean, me personally, I don't feel comfortable paying either of those quarterbacks big money. I think it's a little bit of recency bias with Darnold, in my opinion. I think he's had a great season. Purdy's shown me more throughout, and I know he's done it with weapons, but I mean, Sam Darnold's he's got Justin Jefferson, he's got Jordan Addison, he's got TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. Like, it's these guys are in very similar situations. So I think their numbers are going to be inflated because of their performance, and I don't know. We'll see which teams decide to take the bait, because I'm real interested to see what's going to happen, man. There's going to be a lot of quarterback switch up, I think.
I'm with you. So, Gage, what's your NFL overreaction after Week 17?
My overreaction is going to be for the Indianapolis Colts and their disappointment of a season. And let me just start with, if you manage to piss off Pat McAfee, you did something wrong as an organization. Because Pat McAfee is so chill. He's very supportive and very biased towards the Colts on his show all the time. But when he spoke up this season about how these guys were not performing, and Ethan, we talked about it throughout the season, when Anthony Richardson tapped out of the game early, late game collapses, the defense not playing well last week. They gave up 40 points to the Giants. If I'm not mistaken, I could double check that.
Cox sources.
Yeah, Cox sources.
No, Malik Neighbors. To be fair, Malik Neighbors is
45 to the Giants.
Yeah,
45 to the Giants. No, and Malik Neighbors had a great game, and that's his coming out party. The Giants, for me, just need to find a quarterback and get some O-line help. But for the Colts, man, they're just in the same position that they've been in for years, dude, where they're not good enough to make the playoffs or do anything substantial in the playoffs. They lost their way out of a playoff berth this year. And they're not picking high enough in a draft to get a generational player. And when they did, they picked Anthony Richardson. And
it's not. And
I was
that. Yeah,
I don't want to put the blame on him, bro, but let's keep it a stack. He has not played like we thought he was going to, because
no, and that might be a little unfair expectations on him, right? Because everybody saw the tape, everybody saw the measurable, and said if he can put it together, he can be a Josh Allen on steroids type of player, which is saying a lot considering the type of player Josh Allen is. But at the same time, because I believe in development in the NFL, I feel like there's this obsession with microwave players like this microwave obsession with players being good like this, right? And there's a lack of development, especially with certain positions that I feel like needs more development than others. For example, I feel like the defensive tackle position is a development. You don't see progress from that for a couple seasons. Same thing with linebackers. I think quarterbacks is on that list. Not every player can be a wide receiver, can be a running back that can put 1,000 yards each and every season, right? But at the same time, I'm seeing very little improvement from Anthony Richardson, even though he didn't really play too much at Florida. He didn't play too much that first year in Indianapolis. From last year to this year, Anthony Richardson hasn't moved me. He's shown flashes, but not enough consistency, bro. Like, is not enough. I wonder when Indianapolis, they've already shown that the leash is short with him. I wonder this upcoming season, because they're cooked this year, how short that leash may be with him.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what their approach is going to be coming into the draft. I'm interested to see what a lot of these teams towards the bottom of the draft are going to be looking for. And I'm sure in the coming weeks, we'll get more into what teams will be looking for, some of the prospects and all that stuff. But before we get into our results for week 17 and our predictions for week 18, let's talk a little bit about who we think could come out on top for the 2024 NFL MVP. And for me, I have 4 names at the top of my list.
Let's go.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, and Joe Burrow. I think all 4 of those guys have very legitimate cases for MVP. I'm having a hard time deciding who I think deserves it, but I'm interested to see what you have, E, because I mean, are you in disagreement with those four candidates? I feel like they are all, I
No,
think,
no,
very worthy
I'm
of.
not mad. I'm not mad. Let's keep it a stack, right? Unless a player is having a record-breaking year, there unless the skill player is or hold on, let me rephrase. Outside of the quarterback position, unless you're having a record-breaking year, you're not gonna really get an MVP real consideration, right? And I feel bad for Saquon Barkley. I really don't. But I'm gonna say I do. But because he had an amazing year at the running back position. Guys like him and Derrick Henry specifically, new teams, you would have never thought the synergy that he has with the Philadelphia Eagles offense as well as offensive line. And although it's great that he hit 2,000 yards, not quite good enough. He wasn't able to break Eric Dickerson's record. And can we keep it a stack too? Even if he played this week, because they're going to say he's going to sit the last game of the season. Me personally, I'm not counting it. I don't care that he might have sit out some towards the end of some of these games because he was blowing it out. Brother, if you didn't break it in 17 games, I don't care. Me personally, an
I
extra
think that's
game,
just the hater in you.
Nah, the extra game matters. The extra game matters. That's an asterisk. Like if he beat the way I see it, right? If he beat Eric Dickerson's record against the Cowboys, he has all right to go into that last game in stat pad. You beat the record, but to have that extra game, think how many guys would have broke Eric Dickerson's record if they had an extra game? Adrian Peterson, Chris Johnson, like those guys, and it's unfair that it's with the times. We add another extra game to the season, but let's keep it a stack. The one guy I would have replaced that with is Jamar Chase. I think he's my favorite for Offensive Player of the Year, and he's looking like
I'm not
he
mad.
might be the first player in NFL history to have 1,700 yards and I think 17 plus or 18 plus touchdowns according to Cox sources. One of the great, and more likely than not, he's going to end up with the triple crown in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. So, but those four right there, I'm not mad. The question is, who do you have as your winner?
For me personally, it's hard to argue against Josh Allen, in my opinion, because of what the expectations were for his team coming in. I think with Lamar, we knew that adding Derrick Henry to this offense was going to be a cheat code. He was going to have a great year. And statistically, he's having a better year than he had last year when he won the MVP. But what Josh Allen has done for the Bills this year, just me personally, they're the 2 seed in the AFC. They lost Stephon Diggs in the offseason. A lot of questions about the defense, losing both of their safeties, Empoyer and Micah Hyde. And somehow they found a way to stick in the AFC and stay like a heavyweight and be one of the real contenders. And I think the only reason is because of Josh Allen. So that's how I'm feeling, but I'm also not mad at the Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he's having a great season, and it's really, really hard for me to argue against Joe Burrow too, just because of the numbers he's had, man. The only thing about him is just they might not even make the playoffs. So for me, it's hard to give it to a guy who didn't even get his team to the playoffs, because even though it's not his fault, it's hard.
I feel you. I'm on the complete other end of the spectrum, right? I think if we're judging this off the term most valuable, which was the premise of Lamar Jackson winning it last year over Dak Prescott, because that's what I was told, right? Dak had a better supporting cast than Dak, and even though Dak had by far better numbers, Lamar Jackson in the big moments throughout the NFL season was better than Dak Prescott, which I'm not too mad about. And they said his impact was more than Dak's, which I disagree. But that's the premise in which, pardon me for hitting my mic, that was the premise in which he won last year. And if we're going to be consistent with that, I think that's how it goes to Joe Burrow. That offensive line is horrendous. That defense is bottom 5 in the NFL, 6 in the NFL. He has carried the Bengals, the combination between him and Jamar Chase, which I'm not mad at him having some help. And we got to keep a stack. Zach Taylor and that Bengals front office get a lot of shit for not keeping Jesse Bates, letting Joe Mixon walk. Letting Joe Mixon walk was a great decision because the running back they have now, what's his name again? I'm sorry, like I'm having a brain fart.
Chase Brown.
Chase Brown has replaced his production on a cheaper level. That was a great move by them. Jermaine Burton out of Alabama, great pickup in the draft. Like, they've done well in replacing Tyler Boyd leaving. And with that offensive line being as bad as it is, that connection he has with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, he's been absolutely fucking balling this year. So I think by the term most valuable, as done as last year, I think Joe Burrow should it. Now, realistically, he's not going to win it because he, like I said, his stats are amazing. But unless he's breaking that Brady, or is it Brady, or that Brady or Peyton Manning touchdown record or receiving or passing yards record, he's not going to win it. I think the winner should be very, very clearly Lamar Jackson. And it's going to be proven. And I think it makes it even a more mistake. You know what? I'm just going to, before I go transfer on to that point, I'm going to focus on that. I do think Lamar should win MVP. I think my problem with Allen is I feel like Allen has the narrative. That's the only thing with Allen. Lamar had that rough stretch of like 3 or 4 games towards the middle of the season where Allen was hooping. But other than that, I think Lamar Jackson has been better the rest of the season. I think Allen's kind of like a gimme, so to speak, in a sense of like, well, when we look back on this, do we really want to say this era that anybody besides Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson didn't win MVP? Like, we feel like Josh Allen should get at least one. It's not saying Josh Allen hasn't been great, but I think Lamar Jackson has quite clearly, for me, other than the 4 or 5 game stretch, has been better than him.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to argue because his stats are better than Josh Allen. But again, I think Lamar has a much better supporting cast than Josh Allen. And Josh Allen has more team success too.
Well, I disagree. No, because I think the Ravens, my thing was the
Ravens play in a tougher division, to be fair.
The Ravens play in a tougher division, and at the same time, the knock against Lamar not winning it 4 or 5 weeks ago was if the Steelers, we talked about this, if the Steelers win the division, he doesn't deserve to get it. Now they're in the driver's seat and they're going to win the division. So I don't think there's an argument not for Lamar. He's putting up his best passing season ever. He's putting up prime Aaron Rodgers numbers passing, and he's also going to rush for, I think, 1,000 yards this year.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane, bro. That's fucking insane. And I know it's coming to a shock to a lot of people that I'm giving this praise to Lamar Jackson, right? But it's in large part he didn't deserve. I really don't think he should have won MVP last year. I think it's narrative driven. I really think it is. And him being Lamar Jackson and people loving it, this is his best season. And there's a decent chance he might not win it. And we're going to look back and say, damn, should we have given Lamar MVP for last season when Dak and maybe Christian McCaffrey were better than him? Because Lamar only threw for Lamar was good in the big games too. But people forget, right? Even though Dak might have a better supporting cast last year, right? With the way Pollard and CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson played in comparison to who he had. The Ravens are better than the Cowboys, boy. They've been better than the Cowboys. So I think context needs to be made. And so we got to carry that same consistency that we used for Lamar last year to this year. That's all I'm saying. And if we're doing that, I think Joe Burrow should be the MVP.
It's an interesting conversation. It would be fun exercise to go back and look at the MVPs of prior years and see if that's the way people voted. Because, I mean, I could see what you're saying for last year's MVP, and that's a little bit what I'm feeling for Josh Allen of like Lamar won it last year. Lamar's having a great year this year, but it's very comparable in my eyes. Has Lamar broken records?
Yeah.
I mean, he did break the rushing record this year.
The rushing record, and he's going to be the first
career.
quarterback ever with 4,000 yards passing and 1,000 yards rushing. Like,
yeah,
that's a big. Come on, like that's insane. That's insane, and that's all that I'm saying. I just want consistency because let's face it, I'm the biggest. The NFL MVP is always about narrative, right? And I do think Lamar's probably going to win it only because the way he's played the last 3 weeks and clutching up this division, walking the Steelers down. And I just don't see them giving Joe Burrow an MVP too as a wild card seed. I don't see them doing it. Josh Allen had the narrative, but like I said, I just think his ceiling as a player this season even though he has that great performance against the Rams where he has like 6 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 3 passing, first quarterback ever, they still lost the game. So,
yeah.
I can point last year to when Dallas played Miami. Dallas walked Miami. Dak Prescott threw that touchdown in the back of the end zone to Brandon Cooks on Christmas Eve, right? But all Dallas needed was one stop with 3 minutes left. The defense could not get a stop against Miami. And now the narrative throughout that season was that couldn't get a big game in the regular season, even though they beat the Seahawks and they beat the Detroit Lions. That's just how it is. And they walk Philadelphia down. That's my thing. Is like, which way are we going to vote it?
Yeah, all I'm saying is I think it's so close that the things that happen in week 18 could determine who the winner is. Because I really do think that if Joe Burrow somehow finds a way into the playoffs and has a crazy week 18, there's a chance he wins it because of the stats he has. Lamar could win off of a crazy week 18 or could lose it off a really bad week 18. Saquon he's probably not going to play is what they're saying. So that affects him too, because if he broke Eric Dickerson's record, in my opinion, I know you said you don't care, but I think that's a big enough of a accomplishment for me to say he should win MVP, because Adrian Peterson did it too. When he broke 2K, he was I think he was like 9 yards off of Eric Dickerson.
8 yards,
like
8 yards.
Yeah, 8 yards. And he won MVP that year. And I think a lot of people were upset because JJ Watt had a great year. Aaron Rodgers, I think, had a great year.
But it was also a narrative too. Adrian Peterson had just come
back from an ACL. Yep. And the Vikings, I guess, who was their quarterback? Christian Ponder at the time. I mean, they weren't.
I think so.
They weren't very great. So
no.
I get it. Narratives are definitely a part of it, man. And I'm just interested to see who's.
And another narrative I want to shut down. I know another narrative I want to shut down real quick, right? I know a lot of people, it's fun to say, well, Joe Burrow's playing is the best quarterback in the world right now, based he's playing. I hear that, right? Brother, the best quarterback is in Kansas City, and it's done. That title's been done for 5 years. So let's shut that shit up, please. That's one thing that like is irking me a little bit. Like, yes, Joe, this season he's playing the great. He is not the best quarterback in the league. Lamar Jackson is not the best quarterback in the league, even though he might have more MVPs than Pat Mahomes. No, Pat Mahomes is indifferent until Lamar win a Super Bowl. Right? Even though I think his career is following a Peyton Manning-esque type of thing with Lamar that I enjoy, right? In the sense of them winning all the regular. Peyton Manning for the longest time was known as the greatest regular season quarterback ever until he was able to get the Super Bowl rings. And Lamar might start getting in that discussion too. But the point I'm trying to make is that that title belongs to Pat Mahomes. That's still Pat.
Hey, and people do not understand. They're sitting starters next week, have a bye. They're coming off of 2 weeks of rest going into their next playoff
I know.
game.
Hollywood Brown came back recently. I don't know how they let DeAndre Hopkins go with the Chiefs.
Bro.
A little rant about the Chiefs. Is this the best? Bro, I think healthy. I said this on Twitter. Is this the best receiving corps that Kansas City has ever assembled for Pat Mahomes? Think about it, right? Fully healthy. You got Rashee Rice, 1,000-yard receiver. Xavier Worthy, 1,000-yard receiver this year. If Pat Mahomes was a lot more accurate with Xavier Worthy, we're probably talking about a 1,200-yard receiver in Xavier Worthy. How great of a signing that, or great of a draft pick that was for them. Then we have Hollywood Brown, a very solid number 2. Then we have DeAndre Hopkins. Even though he's not prime DeAndre Hopkins can still get 1,000 yards.
Yeah, I mean, as a collective, and you still got Travis Kelce, who obviously has lost a step in his age, but he's still very good, very reliable over the middle, and has a lot of chemistry with Mahomes. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see that as a collective. This is a very talented group of pass catchers. Maybe not the ceiling when like you had Tyreek, because I mean, obviously Tyreek
and Sammy Watkins.
They were at a different level at that time, but
I'm just thinking about the options. You have all 3 of those guys.
Yeah, you got options. You definitely got options on this team.
Getting healthier too. Like I said, Hollywood Brown just came back.
Are they getting Rashee Rice back?
I think according to Cox sources, I think they have a chance to get him back towards the end of the season, or not towards the end of the season, if they make a deep playoff run. But I think didn't he have just a PCL sprain or a PCL tear?
Let's see.
Yeah, when did they get him? Because
they said Mecole Hardman and Jalen Watson could come back. Rashee Rice and Sky Moore are not coming back this season.
Okay, so Rashee Rice, but I mean, even still, the way Worthy's been playing, they got Hollywood Brown back. They have DeAndre Hopkins, McCall Hardman, and a Watson have chemistry with Pat Mahomes the last 2-3 years. Again, I don't until I see a team beat the Chiefs, and they're gonna get basically 2-3 weeks off.
Yep, to rest and get ready for the playoffs, man. You don't think Kelsey and Mahomes are literally just sitting in the cryo chamber getting ready for
Bad, like
this?
Goku.
Because
Yeah,
literally sitting in some bubbles and shit.
yeah.
But hey, honestly, the Chiefs are still the team to beat, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in these playoffs. If you're interested to see what we have to say about the NFL playoffs, make sure y'all are subscribed, because the next couple of weeks we will be going over the playoff matchups, because after week 18, everything will be solidified. Talk about wild card matchups and who we think can make it to the Super Bowl. But all right,
you know what time it is. Yeah.
it is time.
Your judgment day is almost here. Your judgment day is almost here.
It is, but you know what? I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back. I'll give you the pat on the back too. We both stayed above 500 this season, so I think that's impressive in itself. It's a crazy league. This week we both did okay. I finished at 9-6. You finished at 10-5. Sorry, 10-4.
That boy nice.
Yeah.
That boy nice. That boy nice. What were our misses and our makes that you noticed?
Okay, so the ones that I picked Carolina to beat Tampa, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's see, we both picked the Colts. That didn't work out for us. You picked Atlanta over Washington.
That didn't work out for me. I picked Dallas too. I picked Dallas over Philly. I'm mad about that too, just because my thought process was Jalen Hurts is going to play, Kenny Pickett, and Cooper Rush played solid, really solid the week prior against the Bucks. Really good. He's just ass, bro. He's just ass. Like, it still bothers me so much that the Cowboys have not given Trey Lance no burn. They just wasted a draft pick on a guy that didn't start any games, and now he's going to walk in free agency for what? Cooper fucking Rush?
Yeah.
You can tell after halftime the Cowboys defense too mailed it in. They're like, you know what? We're done. We got our big win against the Bucks that made us feel good at home. But it's time to pack it in. Which like I said, Ashton Genty, I need to see that star on that helmet.
The way y'all are falling in the draft standings, we'll see. We'll see what happens, because I'm not sure Ashton will fall.
Oh no, that's a pipe dream. I want number 2 from Ohio State. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb deserves a running mate. Yeah, I'm sorry to seeing Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase get their number 2s. It's time. But so what were your misses?
I picked Green Bay. That one messed me up. I said Carolina. I picked Tennessee over Jacksonville, which was just kind of a tank bowl. I also picked the Saints over the Raiders, which the Raiders, man, just keep tanking their draft stock too. Fall from like 2 to
Saints
8.
Are really fucking bad. Yeah, that was bad. Bad.
It's rough, dude. Because now they're probably gonna have to trade up to get Cam or Shador.
If they make it.
The Giants aren't in any better position. I think they're 4th right now.
I think they're 3rd. But they're 4th. You're right. The Giants
I think they're 4th. Yeah, because I think it's Patriots, Titans, Browns, then them. But anyway, so those are our picks for week 17. We will be putting our records for the entire season on the screen now.
So this is going up until the season finale. So please take it with a grain of salt and enjoy this ass whooping I've been giving Gage all year long.
Hey, you know what?
I may or may not put a parlay down since this is the last week of the season, because I missed on all my Christmas Day bets. Nico Collins, all I needed was 8 catches, and you gave me 3. Bastard. There's a reason why I don't. There's a reason why I don't bet, bro. There's a reason why I don't bet. I get it, bro.
Yeah.
Once or twice a year, I'll bet. And yeah, I can't do that. But let's go into our season finale predictions for this 24-25 NFL season. Gage, let's start it off. Let's run through these.
All right, man. We start with our doubleheader on Saturday. We've got the Cleveland Browns visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens can clinch the NFC North with a win here. I'm going Baltimore.
I'm right there with you. They're at home too. Yeah, I don't see the Browns pulling this off.
Yeah, it's going to be tough the way Lamar's playing. And yeah, I think he wants to secure that NFC North. So then we got another NFC North matchup. Cool, on the Saturday doubleheader. The Cincinnati Bengals visiting the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I think the Steelers have been losing a lot of head of steam the past couple weeks. I know they're annoyed as hell about the Chiefs game getting blown out on Christmas Day. They smoked. They're on a 3-game skid. Like I said, got smoked by Baltimore. The Eagles handled them, I say, pretty comfortably, especially in the second half. And I think they're free falling just a little bit. And the Bengals are red hot. Like I said, they're chasing that last wild card spot. I'm going to pick the Bengals to win. Unfortunately, Bengals fans aren't going to like what I have to say, but we'll wait for the Broncos game later.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to take the Bengals here too. The thing here for me is Pittsburgh might not even play their starters if Baltimore wins, because if Baltimore wins, I think Pittsburgh's pretty much stuck at their spot. I could double check that. It could be Cox sources, but they're 10-6. No, technically they could get jumped by the Chargers if they were to, Pittsburgh were to lose and Chargers were to win this week. So I guess they do have something to play for. So disregard that. But yeah, I'll take the Bengals.
Bengals. All right, next game. What we got?
Sunday morning, Houston Texans visiting the Tennessee Titans.
I'm right there with you. A little bit of a disappointing season by the Texans, but I'm gonna pick them over the Tennessee Titans. The Titans, like I said, they will be in the Shedeur, Sanders, and Cam Ward sweepstakes.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Titans. Like, this is kind of a meaningless game for Houston. They are slotted in at 4. I don't think there's any moving for them. So maybe they sit starters, but yeah, I'm going to take the Texans here too. Might just be crazy. We might just be going with the teams that are better here.
Yeah.
But all right, next we've got the Carolina Panthers visiting the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons kind of, even though they are, pardon me, still in the running for the NFC South because they do own the tiebreaker with the Bucks, but unfortunately they are a game back. They're playing the Panthers at home. I think it's gonna be a tough game. I really think it's a tough game. I think Michael Penix has shown flashes. It was a tough loss last week, but I'm gonna go with, personally, I think the Falcons get it done. They're at home. I think they're gonna need some lucky breaks if they want a chance to win the division, but I'm gonna go with the Falcons.
Man, I picked Carolina last week, and Tampa was playing really hot last week. Bryce Young had some crazy throws to Adam Thielen, though. I still feel really good about his progression throughout this season, and I could see him wanting to play upset to the division rival Falcons, who have a very squishy defense. I'll take the Panthers again.
The Panthers again? Fair. Not a bad choice. Side note, I really think the Panthers should build around going into this draft. I know it's fun to get weapons, but unless it's Travis Hunter, and I like Tedero McMillan, and I'm mad if they pick Tedero McMillan if he's available. I really think they should go offensive line. He needs offensive line help. I really think they should go that route, because look at the Chargers. They got a generational guy in Joe Alt, and they were able to get Ladd McConkey in the second round.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens this week and where they fall in the draft, if they'll even be high enough to pick one of those guys. But yeah, I'm interested to see. Next up, we've got the Buffalo Bills visiting the New England Patriots. I think I know where I'm going with this. I'm taking Buffalo.
You're taking Buffalo? Yeah. I'm right there with you. I think Josh Allen is going to try to stat pad to try to get that MVP.
I actually don't think he's playing. I think they're locked in at the 2 seed. It'll probably be Mitch Trubisky for the Bills.
I still like their chances.
Well, I don't think Drake. I don't know if Drake May is going to play.
He should. He needs burn. So.
Oh, he is. Yeah, Gerard Mayo said he is playing. So.
He should.
Whew. Yeah, I'll take the Bills still.
I'm gonna try something different. Fuck it. I changed my mind. I'm going Patriots.
All right. All right. Next up, we've got the Washington Commanders visiting Jerry World and the Dallas Cowboys.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Commanders are stuck at their spot, right?
No, they could actually move up. So the Commanders, if they beat the Cowboys, they're locked in at the 6th seed. If they lose and the Packers win against the Bears, then the Packers move up to 6, and Washington would move down to 7.
Okay.
So they have to win to stay at 6.
This is hard for me because I picked the Cowboys last week because I thought Cooper Rush going to play somewhat competent, and he wasn't. I think season finale, Cowboys can't seem to do anything right. I want them to tank because I want Emeka Egbuka or Ashton Genty, but I feel like Dallas is just Washington's kryptonite. Washington had no business losing to Dallas a couple weeks ago in FedEx. Now they're in Jerry World, where Dallas does play considerably worse at home for some reason. You know, I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to pick the Commanders. If they're fighting for that playoff spot, I just need Cooper Rush to play like how he played last week, and I think Washington will win.
Okay.
There's no CD. Think about it. There's no CD. He's shut down for the rest of the year.
That's what I was going to say, too. I think that Cowboys offense is going to look a little limp against the Commanders without CD and, you know, how Cooper Rush plays. So I'll take the Commanders, too. Next up, we've got the Chicago Bears visiting the Green Bay Packers. Ethan, I don't think I even really have to say anything. You know where I'm going. Even though the Packers got they didn't get their butts handed to them. They came back they were in the first half of that Vikings game. And found a way to come back. Not enough, ultimately. So I think they'll take their frustrations out on little brother in the NFC North, on the Chicago Bears.
I'm right there with you. It sucks, though, for y'all. Not for me. I don't like the Packers. But Jair Alexander's out for the year.
Yeah.
But he's really been in and out the whole year, so.
Yeah, and I don't know. It seemed kind of weird whenever Matt LaFleur was talking about him in press conferences. It seemed like there was a lot of frustration about the situation. So I would not be surprised to see Jair leave Green Bay. And that sucks because I love watching him play. I think he's a very good player when he's on the field, but he's been in and out of the lineup, like you said. And he will not be with the Packers for the playoff run due to surgery. So, all right, let's move on. Got another playoff contender taking on a division rival in the New Orleans Saints. They're visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Bucs can secure their playoff spot with a win and clinch. How we going here, E?
Give me the Bucs.
Yeah, I'm not thinking twice about this. The Saints look so bad, dude. Ooh, they're rough.
Yeah, give me the fucking Bucs. The Saints are really fucking bad.
Yeah. Shout out to the Duck.
That was a crazy highlight. Them scoring on that play while he was on the he or she was on the field was hilarious.
Yeah, I love that. Ducky Irving and the Tampa Bay Ducks. But
next game, I know we got started the 3:00 games too.
Not yet. We still got a couple. We got 2 more 12:00 games.
2 more.
So, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars visiting the Indianapolis Colts.
Give me the Colts. Last game at home, even though it's kind of been a shit show this week with the whole Pat McAfee shit. Give me the Colts. The Jags fucking blow. But I'm so happy I was so right on Brian Thomas Jr. God, he's a stud.
He is. He's really, really good, dude. Yeah, man, I'll switch it up. I'll go with the Jags here. I think the Colts have really shit the bed this season, and I don't know. I just feel like Jacksonville is gonna put a knife in the coffin of this season, and the Colts are gonna make a lot of changes this season, this offseason, I think personally.
Yeah, I think Shane Steichen's gonna be on a very short leash as well.
Yeah. All right. Next up, our last 12:00 game, we've got the New York Giants visiting the Philadelphia Eagles. Like me and Ethan mentioned earlier, Eagles are probably sitting most of their starters. Saquon, most likely not playing in this game. Does that matter to you, Ethan? Or are we taking Philly?
Yeah. Yeah, because the Giants, like I said, they were able to put up 45 last week. Neighbors and Drew Lock went nuts. I'm gonna go with the Giants. I think it's a nice little stat pad game for them. Contract incentives. I think it'd be stupid for them to win, but Giants are gonna Giants. Because I think if they win this game, they're more likely going to be out of the Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward sweepstakes. Maybe one of them. But give me the Giants.
Ah, man.
I don't know if Kenny Pickett's playing this week either because he got hurt against Dallas.
Yeah, he got hurt, but Tanner McKee didn't look bad either when he was in the lineup. I mean, it's not a super difficult offense when you have Saquon in there, but I'm going to take the Eagles, and I do it for the sake of Giants fans, for the sake of our one friend who's a Giants fan.
Cam.
Shout out Cam. Yeah. Shout out Cam. Hopefully you're doing all right, friend, at 3-13. And I hope you guys get another loss. And I don't say that maliciously, but so you get a better draft pick. So go Philly. All right, Ethan, we got our 3:00 games. Do you want to present them, or would you like me
Yeah,
to
I got you.
All right.
Because we're a little over halfway through the games for today. First up, we got Chargers at the Raiders. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Chargers are staying at the 6 more than likely. Well, no, because they're with the Steelers. So
yeah, it depends on what happens with the Steelers. So they could move up to 5.
yeah, give me Chargers. Yeah, the Raiders are not good. They're not good.
Yeah, I'll take the Chargers too. Even though the Raiders got a win last week, hopefully, hopefully the loss can get them back into the sweepstakes for their sake. But
yeah, next up we got the pardon me. We have the San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. San Fran played a really dope game last week against the Lions. They lost, but the Lions got their little bit of a revenge. But I thought Purdy played well for the most part. Those interceptions killed him, but Ricky Pearson went nuts. Give me the Niners. Give me the Niners. And the Cardinals are kind of free falling. That interception that Kyler had, oof.
Yeah, Kyler has really disappointed me. The end of the season, he just looked rough. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt against the 49ers. I don't know how often they beat the Niners, but they're at home. Fuck it. I already lost, so I'll take the Cardinals, man.
We throwing Hail Marys up. I feel you.
Yeah, honestly, at this point, yeah, just see what fucking hits.
All right. Next game, pretty easy one, I think, for the both of us. Broncos at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City's more likely gonna sit all their starters.
You think this is easy though?
Well, the Broncos almost beat them a couple weeks ago if they didn't miss that field goal.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the
You don't think
Broncos
Carson Wentz doesn't have any magic in him?
Nah, not this time. I'm gonna go with the Broncos. Broncos, if they win, they make the playoffs. And that's what I was saying. Bengals fans are gonna hate me, but I think the Broncos get it done today.
Yeah.
Even though Bo Nix, I think we gassed his performance, man. He had 2 shots to beat the Bengals and he blew it. Don't get me wrong, he's playing a little better than Russ did last year. Not by a lot. I think the team itself is playing better. And he just don't really move me like that. I think we gassed it a little bit too much saying he was rookie of the year. Especially with the way that Jaden Daniels and Brock Bowers have played. But give me the Broncos.
Yeah, I kind of want to go with the Broncos. I only want to go with the Chiefs just because I want to see the Bengals in the playoffs. That's the team I'd rather see.
So do it on agendas. Do it on agendas.
Okay, I'll do it on the agenda then. We're doing Chiefs beating the Broncos so that the Bengals can get into the playoffs.
Bet that. Next up, we got another game with division implications. We got the Seattle Seahawks at the Los Angeles Rams. I know my brother is fuming, him being a Seahawks fan, on the way, especially this end of the season has unfolded, starting with that choke of a job against the Rams a couple weeks ago.
Bro, they got eliminated on tiebreakers again.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think this second half of the year has been cooked for them ever since they lost to the Rams, bro. Like don't get me wrong, they beat the Niners, but the way they lost to the Rams told me this is always a possibility. Choking to the Vikings that they did. Now I don't want to say choke, but performance against the Vikings like how they did, and the Rams I don't want to say lucky breaks because I don't think it's luck, but getting good breaks against the Bills and against the Cardinals. Give me the Rams in this game, playing at home. Gino's going to have to be a lot more consistent than what he's been this season.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams as well. Seahawks eliminated. Rams are still no
Seahawks
Rams
aren't
clinched.
eliminated.
Yeah, Seahawks are eliminated.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, they got eliminated last week. And again, it was weird because they got eliminated through the Rams winning, through the Washington winning, and then I think it was like Minnesota winning or something because of the win tiebreakers or whatever.
You're right.
So the Rams are in the playoffs. Seahawks are not. It's basically a meaningless game for both of these teams. Except for the seeding. I think the Rams can still move. Let me see. Am I incorrect?
I don't think they can move up because they're not ahead of the Eagles. They're not going to be able to pass the Lions or the Vikings, whoever wins that game.
Well, if they lose, they would have the same record as Tampa if they win. So I don't know who would have the tiebreaker there. So I guess that'll be interesting to see if that pans out. But I don't think it will. I think the Rams will win.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. We got a snooze fest, unfortunately. Up next, we got the Dolphins at the Jets. Jets at home. Dolphins sitting at 8-8. A disappointing season for both these teams, considering where they were, what the expectations they had coming into it, and how they performed last year. I'm gonna give you the Dolphins. Dolphins are a better team than the Jets, man. They just are.
It sucks because this is the biggest obstacle that the Bengals have to overcome. I think there's a chance that the Chiefs could beat the Broncos. The Jets beating the Dolphins. I mean, it is without Tua.
Oh, Tua's not playing?
Tua's not playing. He's out. And I think Jalen Waddle's still out too.
I changed my mind then. Give me Jets. I changed my mind.
I think I'm going to go with the Jets too. As dysfunctional as they've been, I think they can crush Miami's hopes and get the Bengals in. So I'm going to take the Jets. Even though it's fucked me so many times picking them this year, I'm going to do it. So
bet that. All right. And then the final game, which I think is game of the week, potentially a game of the year contender. We got the Minnesota Vikings and Detroit Lions. Both these teams sitting at 14-2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the Detroit won the first matchup. So as of right now, they're ahead of them in the division. Winner basically gets the 1 seed. Loser gets the 5 seed, which is insane. Imagine going 14-3 and getting the wild card spot. Absolutely fucking insane.
That's the NFC North for you.
This season, yeah, because y'all are probably gonna finish with a 6 seed.
Either 6 or 7 seed, and we've got.
And y'all gonna win 11 games.
Well, yeah, if we beat the Bears this week, we'll have 12 wins on the season. So, yeah, just fucking madness.
Man, I love the way Sam Darnold has been playing, especially the duo of Jordan Addison and Jay Jettas. I think Detroit has played a little better offensively this season. I'm gonna go to Vikings. I think the Vikings are gonna get the upset away from home and get the 1 seed. I'm gonna go to Vikings. I'm gonna take a risk here and pick the Vikings in Detroit. I'm gonna go to risk here.
I'm not. I'm taking Detroit. I like the Vikings, but they've also found their way like into games that they probably shouldn't have. Like the last week against Green Bay, they should have just killed us. They should have stomped on us. But they let Jordan Love and the Packers back into the game. So I have a feeling that Detroit, they're going to do what they've done all year, and they're going to put points on the board. Defensively, we'll see if they can handle Justin Jefferson and the way Sam Darnold's been playing, but I trust the way the Lions have been playing. And with the division on the line, Dan Campbell's going to have those guys ready to play. So I'll take Detroit.
I think Brian Flores is shooting a shot for a NFL head coaching job this year, and the job he's been doing with that Vikings defense has been tremendous. I'm gonna take a risk. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps it up. That's our Week 18 NFL predictions, and after that, we will be in postseason football mode.
Yeah, and we're gonna have my absolutely amazing ceremony. I think I'm gonna wear my Burger King crown. I think Gage is gonna read a statement that I'm gonna prepare for him. announcing his defeat. Merciless, I would say. But yeah, that
Merciless.
wraps it up for at least the regular season of NFL picks. Thank you guys for watching this entire season. If you want to go back and see some of our overreactions and predictions, make sure to click just click the description down below and check out the playlist. We really appreciate it. We also uploaded our interview awards for the podcast. If you want to check them out, great video. Shout out to all the guys for participating. But that's gonna be a wrap, man. You already know who it is. 007. Gage Sutton. Young Rottweiler. Happy 2025. It's been NFL Picks with our recording. Peace.
Peace.